Yes, hi. Hold on, let me move because we're blocking Donald Trump's face and put us in the other box.
There you go.
There we go. Boom.
What a great day for politics.
Today?
Yeah.
Isn't every day a great day for politics?
Well,
given that it's 2016 and there's always something happening?
Yeah, but it's especially good today because I watched that entire debate, and to see them in the heat of battle, you know, it's true. We live in an age where TV commercials play a pretty big role. I'm sure they're already sick of them in Iowa and New Hampshire too. But to just see them unfiltered and off the top of their head, they got to answer these questions and respond to the barbs that are coming their way. Yeah. I love that. And I just think there's so many interesting angles coming out of last night's debate.
I know. And I mean, I guess we should start with Donald Trump since many of our viewers are tuning in specifically to see Trump. We just wrapped up his first rally since last night's GOP debate in Urbandale, Iowa.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just amazed at how quickly these guys move. One minute you're in South Carolina and the next minute you're in Iowa. But then again, Trump has his own plane.
He does.
So it might not be that hard.
What is it, a 757 or a 767?
Someone in the chat room
Somebody will tell me right away.
Someone is one of those diehard Trump fans.
Yeah. So he was clearly, I thought, his most passionate in any of the debates so far. Now, you guys can tell us what you think. I thought that he was... There have been some other debates where I thought he seemed a little bored.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, where, kind of midway through, you didn't hear a lot from him. And last night, I mean, he was ready for some of these, some of the stuff that was coming his way. And he, I mean...
We're getting different numbers on what kind of plane he has.
Okay, a 57 to 67.
Halsha said Trump looked exhausted. I think a lot of them looked exhausted. I thought Marco Rubio, let's rewind to earlier this week during Obama's State of the Union. I think Marco Rubio looked exhausted. And Ben Carson yesterday, I went onto Twitter after the debate. He was trending nationwide because everyone said Ben Carson was falling asleep up there.
Yeah. Well, we got to get to the point where there's 4 people on that stage. I mean, it was way better. 7 is so much better than 10 or 12. Oh, so much better.
But I do feel that we still didn't hear that much from Kasich, even though there were only 7 up there.
But Kasich did at least a good enough job of getting his image out there. He wants his image to be the lunch bucket guy, the blue-collar guy.
Right.
Kind of the union guy, which is a little bit unusual to be a Republican governor, but Ohio is a strong union state, and he's figured out how to make it work. The thing is, you gotta branch out from, well, we did this in Ohio, and we did that. And I guess his hand motions, people were like all over the place on his...
Every single one of those guys up there, most of them at least have hand motions. Donald Trump,
yes,
infamous for hand motion.
Right.
Chris Christie has certain hand gestures he always makes. He's
right.
always like this.
Yes, right.
The Chris Christie?
Yes, right.
So they all have their own little way of speaking.
Right.
I want to acknowledge Andrew Hatton in the chat room saying, hey, Fox guys, last night Cruz alienated 20 million voters and 29 electoral votes. GOP hasn't won New York since 1984. I will say that when Cruz made that comment about New Yorkers, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. But Donald Trump was so ready. That could have been
Trump's best moment.
That could have easily been his finest moment. And Ted Cruz actually had to applaud him.
I know.
In the answer.
And they had both of their faces up there, and you could see Ted Cruz just go like,
correct.
I mean,
anything consequential come out of this debate? We can. You and I have sat here after every debate and looked and analyzed it. That was one thing of consequence because Ted Cruz is not going to bring that up again. He's not going to bring up the New York angle. But he loves to, being a guy from Texas, and to be able to go out. He goes after the Washington crowd, and he goes after the New York crowd. And Donald completely took that away. I mean, it is such a heavily, registration-wise, heavily Democratic state. I don't know. I mean, I agree with most of the analysts who are already saying, even the fact that it's his home state, he probably won't win it.
New York?
If Donald Trump is the nominee, he probably won't win it. He would have a better chance than anybody else. Huh?
Hillary Clinton was their senator in New
York. Well, there you are. Right. But the argument could be made that Hillary moved there
just to
run for the Senate, that's
true.
what you call a carpetbagger. And Donald Trump has been there and worked there and built a business there, and obviously truly loves Manhattan. So
he does.
I thought that. I still thought that Cruz, though, had some great lines. I mean, his line to Donald Trump on the birther thing, where he says, "I'll tell you what, Donald.
Oh, right.
I'll be president, and we'll make you vice president. Then, if you're right, you'll get to be president anyway."
That's right. We're talking about this, all the controversy behind where Ted Cruz was born. He was born in Canada.
Yeah.
Meaning he was not born in the United States, and obviously some people are concerned about that.
Correct.
So.
And, Donald Trump's...
Donald Trump was totally down. He laughed.
he took the mantle of the party, which is so interesting because people are like, well, is he going to run as a third-party candidate? He says he's loyal to the Republicans, but is he really? He took on the mantle of the party last night and said, you can't do that to the party. You can't win the nomination and then immediately have the Democrats turn around and sue and have that hanging over your head between now and the election and beyond. Now, I think it was Marco Rubio, or maybe it was Chris Christie, one of the two of them. I don't know. Maybe it was Donald Trump. Now that I'm trying to think about it, who said that Hillary Clinton, who had the line, "Hillary Clinton will be going from the courthouse to the White House"? Was that Rubio?
I don't remember that moment.
Yeah, it was a pretty good line. That if she's elected, if she's elected, her first many months in office could be going back and forth between the courthouse and the White House. I think that might have actually been Donald Trump. Now that I think about it.
It's a call from Ohio.
Oh, there you
are. Is that John Kasich?
Yeah.
What's that?
Chris Christie had some pretty good moments, although he had this line where, if I'm elected president, some of these things they're saying it's so ridiculous. If I'm elected president, Hillary Clinton will not get within 10 miles of the White House.
I mean, well, yeah, anyone who's elected president, she's not going to get close to the White House.
Well, the average Joe can walk right down Pennsylvania Avenue. When
literal.
I was there in October, I mean, it's hilarious. How's he going to enforce this new 10-mile no Hillary zone? She won't get within 10 miles of the White House.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just funny.
You know what? I also want to acknowledge Jeb Bush. That was his best debate performance. I think the internet can agree with that, although it obviously didn't stand out enough to make any sort of difference, probably.
Yeah.
What did you think about Jeb's performance?
I thought a couple of things. I thought his answer on guns was the best answer of the night.
Right.
In terms of where everybody stands on that, because he said, I'm an A+ rating with the NRA, but all we did in Florida was pass laws that say if you ever commit a crime with a gun, you're going away for a long, long time. And it's well known that Florida has that law. So that was his way of saying, I am concerned about gun violence, but we make it very clear, if you're a law-abiding gun owner and we believe in the Second Amendment, then you can own your gun and no problems. We're certainly not going to bother you. If you ever cross that line and you ever commit a crime, you're going to go away for a long, long time. It's just very effective, and at the same time pointing out that he's A+ with the NRA. I thought that was his best moment. I thought his worst moment was when Donald Trump was calling him out, because Donald Trump said, you know, Jeb, you're just going to be a weak candidate. He said, this is the problem we've gotten into in this country in the last 8 years, is that we've had weak leadership, and you'll be another weak leader. And I just thought, Jeb Bush has got to, at some point, why is Donald Trump so successful? People want a strong leader. They are craving somebody who they feel connects with them, which is really interesting because he is a multi-billionaire.
Right.
But he is able to, I mean, I think he likes retail politicking. He likes being out with folks. And, so he still connects, and he still taps into the anger that people have. And Jeb Bush...
Look at the crowd following him still. Speaking of Trump, I mean, those of you just joining us, you're looking in the background of a Trump event that just wrapped up, a rally in Iowa, and so many people gathered. I mean, he took the stage and he said, this was supposed to be 20, 40 people, and I look at this and I'm like, I don't even know who you guys are.
By the way,
so many of you.
I looked up, was Jeb short for something? We've never talked about this before.
What do you mean?
Jeb, would it be like Jebediah? I mean, what does Jeb mean? His name is John.
I know.
He's John Bush, and his middle initial is E.
So it's J-E-B.
J-E-B, Jeb.
I know. We talked about it, I think, last year.
Oh,
but it's been
you?
a while
Okay.
since we've discussed it.
Okay.
So.
But anyway, I kept waiting for Bush to at least do something like, I mean, that's just a direct assault on not just your candidacy, but your manhood. So say something. His response was, well, you should go out to the airport and see what they're doing out there. Boeing is building planes. And Trump's like, yeah, I'll check it out for you, Jeb. I mean, why not at least have 10 seconds of a fire in the belly enough to say, look, pal, it's obvious you think you can insult your way to the presidency and call me and every other person on this stage in names. Why don't you shut up and talk about the issues? I mean, just one little nugget like that, where the crowd, would suddenly... That's all he needs to do, but he's seemingly incapable. I don't think Jeb Bush has a shot, any kind of... It's a 1 in 100 chance that he's going to be the nominee.
Even though this morning, Lindsey Graham came out and
Right.
endorsed Jeb Bush, although in the
Right.
polls, it wasn't like Lindsey Graham had a ton of support anyways.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more symbolic
Yeah.
than anything else. But here's my question, and here's my question for you.
Okay.
As we know, John McCain, our senator, was endorsing Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
If Lindsey Graham endorses Jeb, does that mean that McCain secretly is endorsing Jeb?
Yeah.
That's my question.
That is a good question, because I don't think he's going to endorse Donald Trump, but I actually don't think he's going to endorse anyone.
He's not endorsed. He's
Yeah.
come out and said he's not publicly endorsing anyone.
Which, is
he'll support whoever the Republican nominee is.
Which is a smart move, because it's an election year for John McCain. And let's say
right.
he comes down. What if he were to come out for Donald Trump? Highly unlikely. But then the Trump folks are like, way to go, McCain. But the other 70% of the people are like, oh, man, So what if he comes out for Jeb Bush? Well, the 3% who love Bush will love McCain, but the other 97%. So it's a no-win situation.
So he's just
for
more
him.
concerned about making sure he keeps his Senate seat.
That's got to be job one.
Right,
You better
I'm
be
saying
focused
that's his
on
concern,
that,
though.
particularly because
Even when it comes to the 2016 presidential election.
Yes, I'm sure. In my chat with Chris Wallace today, I said I can't imagine this is going to make a hill of beans difference to anybody in Iowa that Lindsey Graham, and it's all about Iowa right now, and then secondarily about New Hampshire. I said, but in South Carolina. And one thing about those South Carolina Republicans, it was obvious last night if you watched the debate, they love Nikki Haley. They love their governor. And their governor called Donald Trump out this week. They also love Lindsey Graham.
I mean, he's their senator.
And for some reason, now he appears way more statesman-like that he's dropped out of the race.
Lindsey Graham.
Because they showed a cutaway of him
Right.
there in the crowd, and it just seemed like, well, he's solid. But anyway, so that was my question to Chris, and he said, it won't make any difference in Iowa and New Hampshire, and if Jeb Bush can kind of get through those first two states and get to South Carolina, the fact that if he picks up a Lindsey Graham, and if he were to pick up a Nikki Haley,
Supporters?
and because Nikki Haley is leaning way more toward the Jeb Bush philosophy
Right.
of inclusion.
Isn't
Really,
Rubio kind of in that realm, too?
and that's just what I was going to say. Rubio and Bush are the two who are spreading the message of inclusion.
What about Kasich? He's a little bit more moderate as well.
He's
right?
a little bit more moderate, but I don't know that he's... Anyway, it's definitely, I think, if she were to endorse, it would be between Rubio and Bush. If she endorses Bush and Lindsey Graham endorses Bush, that could be a little bit of a game changer in South Carolina.
Right.
So, anyway, I better run.
Ron Hoon,
man.
you're just leaving us like that?
I got to leave at 20 after. They're waiting for me to go tape a segment for the Sunday show. So
All right, that's fair. Well, we appreciate your insights.
I do. I love hanging out with you guys, and the chat box is all over the place. So
I know.
Lots of good stuff. Rubio was very handsome last night, says Tess. You guys, it's great. It's great hanging out with you. But anyway,
Good
I
hanging
got
out with
so
you,
many
too.
things going on today. SK. Oh.
And for our loyal viewers, one last time, I must play this. Our viral
This is
sensation.
so great.
You love it.
Yes.
Official Donald Trump jam. More than 2 million views on our YouTube page. Like 5 million views on our Facebook page. And this is not including all the other people that have already like stolen it and uploaded it. This is crazy.
Thanks for the tip.
It's been like 2 days, not even.
We actually put it on our air this morning.
I saw that.
And people love this thing. So
enjoy
it.
Let's play it one more time for our loyal viewers. Stand by.
Cowardice. Are you serious? Apologies for freedom. I can't handle this. When freedom rings, answer the call. On your feet, stand up tall. Freedom's on our shoulders. USA! Enemies of freedom. Face the music. Come on, boys, take them down. President Donald Trump knows how to make America great. Deal from strength or get crushed every time. Over here.